Hello guys, this is the first part I'm talking about testing in Python, and today I will talk and demonstrate how to do unit test. Unit testing is a method by which components of source code are tested for robustness to determine whether the component is fit for production system. So, in this video I will cover how to write tests, how to set up unit test, and to best practices how to do it. If you not currently test your codes, then it is definitely something that you are going to learn and start adding it to your project. I guess a lot of you have heard about testing but might not know exactly what is it. Testing your code is the most exciting thing to do, but there is a reason that most companies and teams require their code to be tested. If you want to take a responsible role on a big project, then you are going to need to know how to test. And the reason for that is that it's going to save you a lot of time in your daily working routine. When you write good tests for your code, it gives you more confidence that your updates and refactoring do not have any unexpected impact or break your code anyway. For example, if you update a function in your project, those changes may have actually broken several sections of your code, even if that function itself is still working. Good unit test will make sure that everything is still working as it should. So, in this video, I will cover the main principles about built-in unit testing module. A lot of us, for the same purpose, test their code just by putting print statement and occasionally run the code. For example, just like for this add function, you can see that the output as 15 and it is looking good. But testing your code this way is not easy to automate and it is also hard to maintain. Also, for testing a lot of different functions, there is no way for us to see at a glance what failed and what succeeds. That is unit test come in. So, remove print statement from here and start writing our first unit test. Step number 1. Create a test module. First, we need to create a test module. For this, I want to create a new Python file with the name test_app.py. Before writing our test, important to know that before writing your test, we need to call our file with test_something. For example, test something app. So we name our test file as test_app.py. Step number 2. Import the code as a module. So first step in here is to import the Unittest module which we will use. It is a standard Python library, so no need to install anything. Just type import Unittest. Then import our file which we want to test as a module. To make it simple, I store this file in the same directory as my test file, so I can easily type import app. This opens the door to a lot of capabilities from Unittest module which we can apply for our project. So let's write our first test. To do it, we will write a method. Method must start with test underscore. This naming convention is required so that when we run this, the system knows which method represents test. Step number 4. Create a class test method. First, we can test the add function. Let's write daf test_add, and as always in OOP programming, the first argument for method need to be self. And now, within our method we can write a test. Since we inherited from Unittest test case, we can have access to all these assert methods. You can find the link to read more about these assert methods in the description of this video. We are going to use assertEqual to test our add function. We can call this via the variable result. From app module, use add function and passing arguments 9 and 6. We can tell that self variable from Unittest module assertEqual with arguments of our result variable should be equal to 15. This is how we can read this line of code. Step number 5. Run our first test. And this step consists of two separate steps. The first one is run without main. We can run our test by using terminal. Open it and navigate to your project directory, where application and test Python files are stored. If you think that you can run your code just by typing python test app.py, Look it's returning nothing. Instead, we need to run Unittest as our main module and pass in test underscore app.py. We can do that by typing python -m unitest test underscore app.py. We can see that when we run this, the output comes with a dot here. It says one run, one test, and at the bottom it says that everything passed now. The second part in step number 5 is run with main. It would be nice if we could just run our test using this first method here by typing python test underscore app.py and just running the module instead of using this longer command here. Just come down in our code and we can say if special variable name equal to special value main, then within this condition we can just say unittest.main and run the test code. If we go back to our terminal, we can run it in our first method, I mean python test underscore app.py. You can see that now we can run our test directly. Remember when I told that methods for testing must be started with test underscore? What if we break this rule? For example, let's change the method name from test underscore add to add underscore test. Let's run the test code again. And in output we can see that the number of tests is 0. So remember, for all times, start your testing methods with test underscore. Step number 6. What if our test fail? Let's simulate a situation if our test fails. Let's change expecting value from 15 to 11. First of all, we can see the letter F, which stands for fail. And also we can see that the test fails with assertion error, which says us that 15 is not equal to 11. Okay, let's come back to normal state and switch this value to 15 again. Step number 7. Test edge cases. So far we have tested only one scenario, 9 plus 6 equal to 15. In real life, we should be expected to face with much more extreme situations. First of all, drop the result variable and incorporate it as argument in self variable below directly. That will be easy to leverage multiple tests. And now we can experiment with more extreme scenarios line after line. After running, we still see that it was only one test. That is why these 4 assert methods here are just within this single test method, test underscore add. Step number 8. Add more test methods. In order to add more tests, we need to add more test methods in test app class. So let's test our REST function from the application code. At the very beginning, just copy and paste test underscore add method as many times as number of functions we want to test. In our example, 3 more times for subtract, for multiply, and for divide functions. So let's quickly change methods names representing testing these app functions. We have add now as the first one, so change the second one to subtract, third one to multiply, and last one for divide function. Inside of each function you should change the testing conditions. This is what I'm doing right now. Be creative and be careful here. You should understand the data the functions are working with and the logic behind while writing these tests. Remember, be critical to the functions and to the system you are working with. Set some usual cases and some extreme scenarios in your test. This allows you to be sure that your system is working by running your test. That's it. I finished setting my simple test. It is a time to run these tests. Step number 9. Run multiple tests. As we have prepared a set of our tests, we can run it directly from terminal as we did it before. Type python test underscore app.py and see the results. You see now the output has 4 dots, not 1. That means the script ran 4 tests at once and no one has failed. Very good. What if some test goes wrong? Let's simulate this situation. For example, let's change the calculation formula in the divide function on application side and run the test again. We have the alert that one test has failed with assert message that 4 is not equal to 3. This F letter indicates that one test failed. Below you can see the exact line of code and statement in your test which failed. This all for this part. Part 2 is coming soon. I hope you enjoy it and see you there.